In recognition of Earth Day, we wanted to make sure everyone knows about several recent reports on climate change. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is a group of scientists who research and advise the UN on climate change. The panel released a new report earlier this month with dire warnings. The scientists said that the impacts of human-induced climate change are already, quote, severe, pervasive, and irreversible. The report can be downloaded at ipcc.ch.
Another prestigious association has also raised the alarm. The American Association for the Advancement of Science just announced a new campaign to educate people called What We Know. Check out the video and read or download documentation at whatknow.aaas.org.
And here's more environmental news from closer to home. Almost 100 professors at Harvard recently made their headlines when they signed a letter demanding that the university purge its endowment of all investments in oil and coal companies. In other words, fossil fuels. Harvard has the largest university endowment in the country, about $33 billion.
The Harvard professor's letter came out just as South African Archbishop Desmond Tutu called for a, quote, an apartheid-style boycott to save the planet, end quote. Writing in the Guardian newspaper, Tutu said he wanted all governments and institutions to divest from fossil fuel companies.
Tutu was crucial in the anti-apartheid movement in his country and in the global campaign to get universities and other institutions to sell their shares in South African companies.
In his article, Tutu wrote that it is the responsibility of all people to stop climate change. He said, quote, who can stop it? Well, we can. To find the article published on April 10th, go to theguardian.com and search for Tutu and the word climate.
There are organizations and individuals right here in Somerville who are already asking the city to sell its stocks in oil and coal companies. To learn more about the campaign, at the end of the program, we'll be joined by Shoshana Blank of Fossil Free Somerville and by Mark Niedergang, Alderman for Ward 5.
Thank you very much for coming to the studio today. Shoshana, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the organization?
Fossil Free Somerville started over a year ago when a bunch of climate change activists in the area realized that this national campaign for fossil fuel divestment was happening at universities and colleges. It's actually international. And also then it was starting to happen in cities. And we decided that Somerville would be the perfect place to start up a campaign. Climate change is the most devastating issue that our world faces right now, and we all feel that Somerville can do its part to say, we don't stand for this, and we're not going to put our money in these companies that are essentially causing climate change with their dirty fossil fuels.
We were talking a little bit before the interview about the anti-apartheid movement and that divestment movement, and didn't you say that Massachusetts had a role in that divestment movement also?
Yes, actually, Massachusetts was the first state in the country to divest its pension fund from South Africa. And soon, a few years after, when Nelson Mandela came to the U.S., he stopped in Massachusetts right away and thanked us for that.
And how is the divestment movement going for the fossil fuels?
So over 20 municipalities in the country have decided to divest. San Francisco, Seattle, even Cambridge in Massachusetts, their city council has voted on it. And actually 5 of those cities are in Massachusetts, so it's going pretty well.
Mark, I know that you and many other aldermen have said that you agree in principle with this, and I think also the Mayor Curtatone has said that he agrees in principle with divestment. So how's it going up at City Hall?
It's an interesting situation. The actual decider in Somerville is a 5-person retirement board that oversees the pension fund and its investments. So the mayor, the board of aldermen, has no official influence on this. We may have some moral influence by speaking out. And so we received a petition from 129 residents that Fossil Fuel Somerville organized these people, asking for a public hearing and asking that the board of aldermen pass a resolution urging the retirement board to divest from fossil fuel investments. Before we could discuss it, we were told by the city solicitor, who had asked the State Ethics Commission, that we were not allowed to discuss it and not allowed to take any formal action as a board, despite the fact that other cities have already done this. Apparently they didn't bother to ask the State Ethics Commission. So we have this opinion from the State Ethics Commission, and we are considering what to do. I know I would, I support divestment. I think most of my colleagues, if not all of my colleagues, do as well. But we are now faced with a legal opinion that we're not, for conflict of interest reasons that, to be honest, don't really make a lot of sense to me, but that's what we've been told by the State Ethics Commission. Because of these conflict of interest reasons, we cannot act as a board. So we're now considering our options, waiting for more information about what this means exactly. What if we defied the State Ethics Commission? Could there be reprimands, fines? We want to consider that and then decide what to do.
Who is the retirement board and who picks them?
There are 2 members that are elected by all the retirees, all the people in the pension fund. There's an appointee of the mayor, and the finance director, Ed Bean, is on it.
I'll put you on the spot a little bit, and I'll ask you, either as an individual or as an alderman, what do you think this city should do, and what do you feel about divestment and climate change? I know you rode your bike here, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I think that divestment from investments in fossil fuels is the only sane thing to do. It's both ethically and financially and economically the intelligent and right thing to do. I think these are bad investments that are likely to tank, and that's bad for our retirees, as well as the fact that carbon is fouling our atmosphere and will eventually destroy the planet. So to me, it's a no-brainer. And I'm going to speak out as much as I can on this. I've already asked the city solicitor for an opinion on whether, as an individual alderman, I can lobby the the retirement board, send letters, speak publicly, et cetera. I just want to check before I do so. The mayor already said in his inauguration speech that he supported it, so I assume that it's fine if he did it, but I'm waiting for that opinion, and then I'll do everything I can to push for this.
You can find out more about the Somerville campaign at fossilfreesomerville.org.